It's 4 off. Case in order, which is racism, poverty, solvency. Everyone ready?
First off, key spec interpretation for affirmative specified test case and 1AC validation. They don't specify test case standards. 1 ensures negative by undercutting your ability runs with the intent of the applicant. A test case outline is done. It's just important as the impacts of 2 AC from removing target allows them to specify the 2 AC, and that's bad because this destroys offices of education. The test case proves how the unique scenarios and impacts are several, determining the functions of the effects of the affirmative voter certification. Next off, counterpunch. The 50 United States and relevant territorial actions should deny certainty from test case and amend their constitutional rule of the Equal Protection Act of the 14th Amendment. Federal district courts have broad remedial powers in school desegregation cases, including the power to order interdistrict remedies where any form of segregation has been found. Funding enforcement is guaranteed, reserve the right to clarify intent. And state courts are the best actors on promoting positive rights like education, healthcare, and necessary for violence victims. Nearly a million reasons why this is true. Sermon 98. Goals that provide the positive rights of the state and money to enforce effective implementation of the democratic pressures surrendered to the federal court. The poor candidate the positive right candidate the federal efforts ensure because 1, there's no textual basis for the such right in the federal constitution. 2, there's no positive right tradition in the federal constitutional system. 3, the federal courts are characterized by a lack of local tailoring. 4, federal judges, unlike the state courts, enjoy distinct advantages. First, many contain provisions addressing the positive rights, including rights to education, economic assistance, medical services, and special assistance for the victim of a crime. Second, state courts are more comfortable than federal counterparts. And evolutionary law development, the state constitution have developed more of a common inherent emphasis. States have the advantage of a common law option, and that the relative case in the state constitution may be amended. Next off, Duke Energy. A unique internal link, their cleaner evidence will likely be successful in getting Supreme Court rule in favor of air emissions regarding Duke Energy, but judicial capital is essential. The New York Times, the Duke Physics American, one of another report, the last year before the company's other polluters, the Clean Air Act, the federal authority could undergo controversial procedures in the act requires coal plants to install water pollution controls whenever they undergo physical operation. The industry hated the administration has spent at least 5 years trying to get rid of it. Now being linked to political capital, finding plants the court's ability to make other decisions. 183 courts like the power of the person to sort of the enacting Congress. The courts are the weakest branch. They can preserve the by conservative political capital, which could be stronger. Now, urging the bill to galvanize the public majority don't want desegregation powers in 2 cases. Substantial majorities are present. Is virtually survey conducted. The majority of the opposed desegregation puzzle. The implementation is the same question. The implementation of some sweeping changes and encounter strong resistance, prompting a substantial retreat from the due process. Now, impacts is 1, Supreme Court ruling against Duke Energy, battle protecting hundreds of millions of Americans from air pollution. Harvard and current in 2K6. The coal power plants are most nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide. Again, acid rain also been certain particle for increased asthma and other respiratory problems. In this era, evolution trends globally seen to drive into 2K3. Evolution can make life unstable by harming ecosystem to all life and harming the health of both future and present generation. Now, next off is BizCon. A uniqueness. Various factors indicate the reason why business confidence high now is weak in 2K6 for many companies financing, and the co-trend there with Robert Powers, their shorting cash flow is increased level VA. Economy-wise measure corporate profits are earning up to 20.5% a year, and the link is that judicial predictability, consistency on part of the Roberts Court is key to business confidence via short-term planning. This is well learned in 2K5. Corporations worship pragmatism to follow out judiciary philosophy. Roberts typically pointed and the president need to avoid enacting rapid and radical changes in the law to enable the legal system to override president transition roadmap. Here's say where the business can take this comfort. Now, internal link is that loss of business confidence for economic recession in 2K4. What business confidence, capitalist economy are hard to reverse. That depends on the hope as a general important business leaders must have hope before they will build new factories. Now, impact is economic collapse leads to a global nuclear war and poverty. Burden in 2K. Desperation to take a desperate action around the economic collapse will have increased to the point where the arsenals of weapon mass destruction now be released. Mutual treaties will draw other nations into conflicts. Once units are released, adversaries are compelled to launch a perception rapid escalation weapon mass destruction occurs. Resulting Armageddon will destroy civilization in the biosphere. We know it. Now on the case. 1, turmoil, absolutism, fuels, wars, genocide, and all types of trials. Wilson in 98. Philosophers always focus on fundamentalism, means availability. Ethics, they seek the grounds and natural compromising the freestanding principles of moral founding community, data compromise, so compelling the free natural law theory. They seem to the transcendental assumption beyond question, but there's no one to test that they added quality failures. Now, states are not moral agents. Kill in 92 obligation of the state cannot be identified with the obligation of any individual. The consequence of the distinction between individual and group morality. The group of the state is not expected to observe the same standards of morality, but as the individual, there is a presumption of a moral duty to promote the welfare of the group and to further the interests of the group as a whole. Now, the ontology perpetuates misery. Smart and 72 uses with the ontology of ethics, open new object, and there must be some possible way to dictate the system of clash between the welfare and the ontological principles of prescribed action to avoid the human misery. Now, extinction destroys the framework for morality to exist. This is Rocky 97. Nuclear weapons are not just a form of weapon that have the power to dictate the natural environmental sustainable humanities. At the beginning of their time, nuclear weapons caused death and destruction and induced cancer, leukemia, afflictions continue for decades to induce health-related problems which will cause poverty. Now, no matter how slight the risk of nuclear war must be avoided. This case in 92. The responsibility seems carried out of the use of nuclear wars, no matter how limited the rationality is seemingly morally justified in the matter of extinction. We are obligated to the possibility as a certain humanity is not to take any step out of the slightest risk of extinction is all the moral account of the extinction might be a slight possibility. No one can ever know how great the possibility is, and one must credibly deny whether some consequence or particular use of nuclear weapons may lead to human and natural extinction. Now the right to life precedes all human rights as well as early in 2K1, right? Human rights need living human beings and reproductive denying human beings living existence to deny them all the rights without human existence. All other rights are equally meaningless. Now these school desegregation efforts remember black children are now invisible. This is all in 2K6. Civil rights lawyers since you'll be little what they the children through black children suffering with as a reason for the change the educational needs of lots and larger social talk around the meaning of equality. Now this invisibility replicates the harms of racism. Hall in 2K6 invisibility creates a social reality where we cannot feel pain. We can listen to their cries for help, but have no way to help it lead to action. They emphasize that the transform underlying conditions, their legal rights are considered to be defended, but never enforced or realized. Now desegregation decreases local community capital, which weakens communities and duplicate the problems of affirmative claims to solve. This is based on 2K5. Parental involvement in school is central to the public and given others towards school involvement is a participation that lies at the heart of any healthy community and concern for the well-being of the local American community should be investigating the policies that lead to the traditionally close ties between communities and school. And busing increases parental involvement in schools is down in 96. Parents of the children neighbors find it much easier to get involved in the children's education since they don't need to travel out of the way to PTA meetings and things like that. Now parental involvement is key to students' educational success. Boston 97 educational theory support the parental choice is the key factor in determining parental involvement in a student's education. Parental involvement is powerfully linked with their students' achievement. Now the Supreme Court promotion of school desegregation with the schemes of proposing congressional counterreaction, which causes legislation for preventing plan solvency. Miller in 89. Following the court's decision in HEW established the guidelines of the desegregation included racially conscious remedies. The same year the Congress amended the HEW Rorschach Act to prohibit use of funds to bus students. Now empirically proven that school desegregation decreased number of African American teachers in schools in Pranger and 2K4. Many African American teachers appointed by the Browns from very beginning period would be replaced by the white teachers in the integrated schools, and their fears of a well-founded in the first 11 years of the desegregation. Over 30,000 African American teachers were dismissed. Now reducing the number of African American teachers due to academic failure. This is further in 2K4. The absence of black education, the black students did not have a role model to demonstrate what they could and succeed academically and motivate them to do so. Many black students dropped out of school. Now,
Is that enough offense? Yeah, that's fine.
overruling Milliken could onto poverty. Overruling Milliken can overcome systematic and transparency in the system. Reinhardt and 2K4. Milliken landscape we are deemed by the voter. The President one requires approval of systematic possible racial discrimination. 2 prevents the Equal Protection Act for school funding. 3 allows declared authority upon the declaration of unitary status. Now status quo stalls for any racism, poverty. No child left behind allows for increased school integration. This means we're not complicit with racism. This is Reinhardt in 2K4. No child left behind act has allowed students to underperform in schools and the option to transfer. This could produce racial integration into the byproduct. And standardized tests are meaningless in measuring what students have actually learned when they evaluate and measuring educational standards because of Conan 99. You or I can design to have hours of failed in the most general way that we get a present conference to communicate the ignorance of the kids across the bar schools. Many of our special tests being used to generate speeches and articles about the desperate plight of American education are seriously deficient and taking them very seriously. Most of these tests don't even look at a deep understanding of ideas. There's no bright line as to what constitutes real education or how you're going to get better education. I sit in class all day and I'll claim I don't learn a lot from a lot of my classes. Now, most qualified studies from the desegregation that improve academic performance of African American students. Berger in 2K5, the most statistically rigorous study of desegregation of the black achievement concluded the many scores of the blacks and a majority white schools were not significantly better than the blacks and minority black schools. And we'll contend that increasing stopping desegregation is going to increase the individual racism from individual children onto black individuals anyway, which turns down solvency. Plan doesn't solve the may have implemented a plan. The racism still exists, although the plan may block the profession of the ideology. The plan doesn't truly reject racism, even if a mindset change eventually creates a time frame to solve systematic racism would be generations. That was a part of cross-examination too. The only way to gain solvency for the advantage is to fiat mindset change for the countless number of people who would experience or perpetuate racism. This is completely abusive because all clash is lost in a world they find a utopian world. Is devoted for clash and fairness. Further, alternate causality racism is rampant in U.S. foreign policy, U.S. welfare system, and economic system. B, racism from the ideology that the plan exists in other parts of the world, not just the era of the plan claims to solve for, i.e. if they go to overbroad education, that's going to lead to more racism abroad. And for no solvency, racism is inevitable. Overturning Milliken leads to private school shift as well as congressional backlash from the case. Wilson in 1930, the quarter trying to integrate the suburbs by itself. A powerful part of this history would have becoming granted at the very least in any suburb would we pull the children out of the suburban public schools, undercutting the goals and the benefits of racial economic integration.
What was your topicality violation again?
Test case.
You should have to spec what test case you're gonna give cert to.
Are you running the counter plan then?
Yep.
States courts
Yeah.
do the same thing? Okay.
Do you have any questions?
As far as, could you just explain why state courts are better than the Supreme
Well,
Court?
that piece of evidence actually indicates state courts are better for a couple reasons. First, they have a better funding. Like the state courts draw from personal tax, like income taxes from their people, and that funding isn't like as subsidized as like things like if you're using the Supreme Court, which literally has no funding at all. And further, state courts are better because they've had no opposition to them. Give me the card. I can
Closer to the oppression.
Yeah, closer to the oppression. Give me the card. I can
Yeah.
spell out specific warrants. Yeah, like federal courts are, this evidence is like comparative. Federal courts are bad because they have like no democratic pressure on them, so they're not closer to the oppression. Two, there's like no textual basis in the Constitution for actually going to the federal courts, and there's no local flexibility. Like those plans, once they're enacted, they can never be changed based on what the community wants or the democratically, so to preserve democracy. For the state courts are better because they support like more flexibility. Like we can alter them if the people want that. And existing economic provisions, that was the financial aid I was talking about.
Okay. Could you explain your just the morality, consequentialism?
Yeah. Excuse me. Our argument is that if you're dead, you can't have rights.
Okay.
Like life is the ultimate right to have, and we preserve that the best through nuclear war.
So you favor right over you favor the right to life over everything else.
Yes, because it's key, and it's kind of like a gateway argument. If I don't exist, there's no mode or way for me to change my ontology. Like most deontologists would argue that it doesn't matter the impact, which is what your Keyworth evidence and your group evidence talks about. Like there's like no impact to death because all that matters is ontology and being. Well, that doesn't matter if I don't exist. Like it's kind of a double bind. I can't be if I don't exist. I can't formulate being without existing.
How much,
30.
time? How much time's left?
30.
30? You have questions, Joe?
Yeah, what was it, where'd your extinction, impact come from?
It was a beard, no, just a couple impacts. The one is on the Duke Energy Flow, the Dryson evidence through air pollution,
Yeah.
as well as on the discount flow of the beard evidence from economic collapse.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Okay, we'll take prep.
Do you have a file for this?
Yeah, I pulled that.
And where was the